Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of puppets, checking out some more craft lager that I picked up on Beer Dome. So thanks to the Beer Dome for the beer. This is another beer from Drowned Lands, a brewery I'm really starting to enjoy a lot, from New York, from Warwick, and this is their Rare Earth New York Malt Foeder Aged Pilsner. So this is a 4.8% Pilsner with all New York malts and aged in oak foeders. I got a lot of lager coming, a lot. So we have a few craft lagers, and I still have some to check out. But besides that, I got loads of box. I got loads of ungespundet lagers, killer beers, all kinds of stuff from Franconia. Little info here from the brewery's Instagram page. It's a Foeder Fermented Pilsner brewed with New York Pilsner malt and O'Mara Farms New York grown crystal malt. So a little bit of crystal malt, I guess. And then it's fermented and lagered for 7 months in one of our American oak foeders. They call it bright, clean, oaky with a hint of roasted marshmallow, wildflower honey, and fresh cut grass. Let's see. Coming from a land of lager, how would this fare? I think like a lot of people hold a lot of these classic lager producers in really high regard, and we tried some in not the most pristine conditions on draft around Bamberg. Some like even had diacetyl and stuff like that, which is interesting from some of these classic producers, which could be dirty lines, it could be many things, but that just shows like even some of the legendary brewers have issues sometimes, or legendary, some classic brewers at least. I think, was it Feshla, we had a beer where it was like, is this buttery? So it happens. Just because it's from like where it comes from doesn't mean like every single brewery where the style comes from is going to make it perfectly. But there are some that just excel. But yeah, this is super pale, super golden, very bright, and as it says New York grown crystal. Maybe is there a hop called crystal? I'm also thinking about that now. So maybe it's New York crystal hops. Very low yield hop. And it's first bred in 1983. Okay. Woody, floral, fruity, spicy notes of cinnamon, nutmeg, and black pepper. I wonder where it's from. Roots go to Hallertau, Cascade, Bruce Gold, and Early Green. Okay. It's American. Okay. So I'm guessing they're using crystal hop, because if they said crystal malt in this, I'd be like, what? Because that is not looking like a beer with crystal malt. So it must be crystal hops. Okay, so I'm guessing that's to do 100% New York ingredients and finding something similar to classic German hops. Slightly hazy, very bright golden yellow. White head. Not great head retention when I poured it out. Quite fizzy, bubbly, fizzed really quickly, but looks nice. I've really enjoyed the Drowned Lands beers so far, so hopefully I'll enjoy this one as well. So let's check out the aroma. And thanks to Beer Dome for the beer as well. So there's definitely hoppiness to it, which is really nice. I think I saw was Chad's beer reviews that talked about this lacking hops, because I think Chad, also old money beer geek, old money beer tuber, I think he reviewed this. I'm definitely smelling hops. I'm smelling something that reminds me a little bit of a Hallertau variant. It has like that slightly elderflowery nuance. It's interesting. There's something like really doughy, bready about it, and there's something that is almost slightly Belgian-y, but I wonder if that's the crystal hops, because again, they mentioned the crystal hops had notes of cinnamon, nutmeg, and black pepper. So maybe that's having me think of phenols, but there's just something that reminds me of like a Belgian golden ale for some reason, and I'm wondering if that's the hops. Just like fresh bready malt, and fairly singy, zesty as well, maybe slightly citric. Smells good. Let's try it. Cheers. Thanks to Beer Dome for the beer. Here. That's why it smells different. This has been in my fridge for a long time. This is getting sour. Wild pills. What a shame. What a shame. It's the lactic. Maybe that was why I was getting all confused about aromas. What a damn shame. And it's funny, I lead into this review talking about classic brewers making mistakes. Well, here we go. Modern brewer making a mistake. Because there's no mention about this beer supposedly being like sour farmhousey. Just lactic. It tastes like sour pills. What a shame. Looks like I actually had this can since September. Big tannic oak profile. Blah, blah, blah. Bone dry oak lagered pills. So this is one of the dangerous things with oak aging clean beer, like a Pilsner. This is a study now in sourness. Like, the brewery doesn't mention anything in their description of the beer online on their Instagram post that this is supposed to be a sour. Like, if they wanted it to be a sour Pilsner, that's what they wanted it to be. But it doesn't mention that anywhere here. So, but that's one of the really difficult things with lagers, and especially with oak aging. Oak aging, especially if it's a barrel that's not been a spirit barrel, then it's really hard to ensure 100% that especially low strength beers will not infect. If you have a bourbon barrel, for example, it will be somewhat safe because the spirit's been in there, it's fairly strong, and that will have helped maybe keep most bugs at bay. But I think a lot of brewers also go to high ABVs with barrel aging and spirit barrels, of course, because they want these big barrel aged stouts and whatnot. So, and you have another layer of safety with the ABV, like 12% or something like that. 10% plus, I think I've heard people say at least. But that just doesn't mean that it will not go bad. You can even have that happen to beers in bourbon barrels or whatever. They can still go bad. Like, case in point, quite a few years ago, a Noah variant from Omnipollo came out sour after sitting in the bottle for a while. But with lager beers, it's even harder because, like, they are so volatile, especially something like this that probably is not super well hopped either. It's a low ABV. Then it will have a, prime, higher rate of infections that could happen to it in, say, an oak barrel. Now, I'm guessing, like with most people, when they use oak barrels or foeders, they have these huge oak foeders, and the oak foeders are then often, once in a while, cleaned, like steam cleaned often. They have, like, also in wine production, wine stone will build up inside, and beer, it will be beer stone. It'll build up inside. You need to get rid of that because that's where things can grow. But with wood, a lot of things can grow in it. So I know some people that do wood aging of lagers, what they try to do is like either like do like these kind of steam cleaning sessions I know of, and then otherwise like it's trying to keep the barrel full as often as possible so nothing really could get in potentially. But it's tough, and this will happen. Unfortunately, it's the best of brewers. Like, I've really enjoyed everything I've had from Downlands, but this, I'm sure is not how they intended it to be. And what's interesting, I'm also now picking up on a little bit of a slightly cabbagey or cooked corny type flavor, like DMS, because it's warming a bit in the glass. It's a total off can. I wonder if all cans are like this. I don't know, but it's really hard with beers like this when you put them in barrels. Some are really good at it and nail it, and some do them, and then this happened. But I think with something like this, if you're already doing wild beers and you have a batch that goes this way, and you still have it in the barrel when you notice it, then just throw in Brettanomyces and make a wild Pilsner, and it's going to taste great. But in this case, it's just a sour Pils, which is unfortunate, and that means I'm not going to give this beer a grade, because that's how you should rate a beer like this, I think. A beer where the brewer intended something, and unfortunately something happened that's not what the brewer intended to do, then I don't think you should grade it. Especially when it's a brewery, you know that's, well, no, it should come for all brewers, really. Like, what's the point of critiquing and rating a beer when it's not up to the specs that it should be? Like, what's the point in giving a grade? I can just say, don't drink this because it's infected. That's it. I don't need to put a number on it. Why some people would probably put a number on it. Like, I just don't like to grade beers that are not up to spec and are not as the brewer intended. But that's a shame. I was really looking forward to this one because it was a Foeder aged lagers, and sometimes they can be really good. But it's something that at least caught on now. But what's also interesting, there's like no best before dates or anything. Like, there's no packaging date. Like, this is going to be really hard as well to track if these guys find out about it. But it's one of those things, as a brewer, if you drink one of your own products and you experience this, is like, like it's fear-inducing. Like you don't want this to happen. And really, brewers, like the beer industry is so tough, and brewing is such a tough job, and it requires so much skill, so many hours, so much stuff. Like most brewers that I know of are not trying to put out bad beers. They are trying to do their best to make some nice beers that, to their perspective, are nice. And then when something like this happens that you don't want, it's just like, oh no. And then you gotta try and make it work and figure out what to do from there. But making mistakes like this also makes you learn a lot, which is good. So yeah, no, great. Unfortunately, I'm gonna air this video actually just to talk about these and all flavors and everything, because I think it's gonna make for a little bit different but interesting video. And yeah, a shame. But let's see with the next beer from these guys. Hopefully that's better. So far, Brewery, I totally recommend trying beer from because they're usually on point. So if you guys had a Rare Earth Foeder aged Pilsner without the infection, let me know what you thought of it. Fresh, it was probably dope. I don't know when they released this, but the post I found, I'm not sure if they've done it more than once, but this post is from September 21, and I bet that they've done it since then because that's a while back. But yeah, if you guys had it, let me know. As always, comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page, Twitter, and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos, and I'm mostly cheers in some infected Pilsner. See you guys in another beer review. Cheers.